It's another week and yet another 7-round Steelers mock draft from us right here on Steelers Talk. This is my 5.0 version where we're about a month away from the start of the 2024 NFL Draft and things are getting spicy in Steelers Nation. Now, if you want more draft content from me on Twitter or Instagram, I put out a bunch of stuff on there, draft analysis, scouting reports, highlights, all that great stuff. I'm actually going to be putting out my newest a full first-round mock draft for the NFL on my Twitter in the coming days. So make sure you guys go check me out right now at Jack_Sperry and at SpareDog.football on Instagram. I also post channel updates pretty much every single day on there. And then also I put up a bunch of Steelers updates as well. So if you send me your Steelers mock draft, I will respond to it on Twitter or Instagram. Appreciate every single one of you guys that gives me a follow. So now let's start with round one here. And I took Jackson Powers-Johnson in my first mock draft this year. And I haven't taken him in the first round since. So I figured it's time to get back to this scenario where the Pittsburgh Steelers take center out of Oregon, JPJ. Now, keep in mind here, I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers would rather go with an offensive tackle as opposed to go with Jackson Powers-Johnson at number 20. Offensive tackle is seen as more of a higher value position, and I don't think Dan Moore Jr. is the solution that the Steelers are looking for at either left or right tackle, depending on what they do with Broderick Jones. So if a Talisi Fuaga or an Amarius Mims is sitting there in round one, I do think that one of those guys is going to be the pick, because those guys are really, really good run blockers that have a lot of upside as pass protectors on the right side. That would allow them to move Broderick Jones over to left tackle, and then they would address center probably in round two. But in this scenario, let's say Amarius and Talisi get taken and they're not available. Well, in that case, then I don't think J.C. Latham or Tyler Guyton is worth this pick, so I would take JPJ. All right, so this is a scenario where the top two offensive tackle options for the Steelers at right tackle are off the board. In that case, if you can't trade down, I would take Jackson Powers-Johnson, the best center in this year's draft class, with the number 20 overall pick. Now, let me know down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment, would you be happy if the Pittsburgh Steelers took Jackson Powers-Johnson in round one? Simply give me a yes or no for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time, but give me a yes or no down there in the comments. Then we get to round two here, and we're going to go wide receiver with Roman Wilson out of Michigan, who was one of the studs at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Of course, Mike Tomlin loves to be involved in those drills. He loves to be involved with the players and interact with them. And he is somebody that has had a relationship with Roman Wilson, even going back to high school. All right, so Roman talked about that at the Combine, where he's talked with Mike Tomlin a ton over the years. It seems like Tomlin is really enamored with Wilson's approach to the game. He's 6 foot, just shy of 200 pounds. So he's not the biggest guy in the world, but his effort in run blocking is phenomenal. He is a great run blocker there at Michigan. They ran the football a ton. I think he is a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listen, man, along with that run blocking and that size and that strength, he's got great route running ability and some of the most secure hands in the class. If he's available at number 51 and in this deep wide receiver class, I think he might be, I could certainly see Mike Tomlin pounding the table to make Roman Wilson a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now coming up here, rounds 3 through 7. For my Steelers mock draft 5.0. But before I get into that, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Guys, Pittsburgh Penguins hockey is getting going right now, middle of the season there. And then also PNC Park with the Pittsburgh Pirates, man. MLB baseball is back, and you can go check it out at the best ballpark in America. Game Time is the only ticketing app in the United States that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchases with a lowest price guarantee. See the view from your seat before you buy with that awesome, user-friendly app interface that they have, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the arena or at the stadium. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, and create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now we go to round 3 here, pick number 84. And because this is such a deep offensive tackle class, I think that some of these guys may fall. And I think something that could work out in the Pittsburgh Steelers' favor is getting Blake Fisher, right tackle out of Notre Dame, in round 3. Now this might be a little bit of wishful thinking, but right now there's so many good offensive tackles in this year's class. I have somebody like Blake Fisher, who I have a round 2 grade on as my number 9 ranked offensive tackle in this year's class. So is it possible that he could fall to round 3 here, right into the lap of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Absolutely, and I think Fisher is the type of guy that can be plug and play at right tackle right away to start his career. So right here off the bat, we get the starting center in Jackson Powers-Johnson, a number 2 receiver for Russell Wilson and Roman Wilson, and then we get a starting right tackle right out of the box here in Blake Fisher, who I think could be the starting right tackle here in Pittsburgh for the next decade. Then also in round 3, number 98, let's go and get a slot corner here in Jarrion Jones out of Florida State. Now, you guys have seen me mock Renardo Green to the Pittsburgh Steelers quite a bit here as an outside corner, but it seems like the Steelers really like Diontae Jackson on the outside. And even though I still think it's possible that the Steelers could move Jackson into the slot, he's got the body type for it, Jarrion Jones kind of fits what Mike Tomlin loves to see from that slot defender. He's almost 200 pounds, so he's got great size for a nickel defender. He's a great blitzer, sticky in coverage. I think this guy is a day one contributor as your starting slot corner. And then your starting corners look like Joey Porter Jr. in your number 1, Diontae Jackson, a very aggressive, speedy corner at number 2. And you got Jarrion Jones, a great blitzer, and overall very good slot corner in this year's NFL draft class to round out your room. I think that's something that the Steelers can work with, especially working behind that elite pass rush that they have. And then in round 4, I have the Steelers taking Gabe Hall, defensive tackle out of Baylor, a great pass rushing upside with a guy like Gabe Hall. He's tested in the 92nd percentile in total relative athletic score at the combine this year. This guy can move. This guy has strength. He's got the measurables that you look for, and that's something that I think Mike Tomlin, who consistently talks about traits and pedigree, as something that he's going to see, and he's like, you know what, this guy could be my replacement for Cam Hayward or Larry Ogunjobi in the future. I think Gabe Hall would probably come in as a rotational piece right away, kind of take the spot that Armon Watts filled along this defensive line in 2023. But eventually, I think that he has all the talent in the world to eventually fill out a starting defensive tackle spot for the Steelers in the years to come. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you want more Steelers mock drafts from us here at Steelers Talk all throughout the 2024 offseason. Really do appreciate all of your support. These are some of the most fun videos I get to do. So if you want to see more of them, click that thumbs up icon right now. Then we'll go to number 178 here in round 6. JT Bertrand out of Notre Dame. I really like Bertrand's game. I think that, he's a bit undersized for sure. He's going to be, I don't think he's ever going to be a 3-down starter in the league, which is why he's going to be going this far down the draft board. But he's somebody that's extremely tough. He's very intelligent, and he can be trusted as kind of like a nickel type linebacker that comes in on obvious passing situations. I really think that this guy has that kind of skill set to work out in the National Football League. And, he might not be the best athlete either, but man, super intelligent, super tough player that's really good in zone coverage as a pass defender. So I would love to get Bertrand out of Notre Dame in round 6. Then, also in round 6 here, MJ Devonshire. I've mocked Devonshire to the Steelers a couple of times already this offseason. Because I think he fits the play style for what the Steelers want. All right, you get Jarrion Jones as your starting slot corner earlier in this draft, but MJ Devonshire is somebody that could take over for Diontae Jackson eventually. The thing with Devonshire is that, lots of interception production, a super aggressive guy, but he can get burnt, right? He's susceptible to double moves. He's not the best. He doesn't have the best coverage skills in the world. There's a reason why Devonshire is going this far low. But a top 30 visit for Devonshire with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're obviously interested in him in the later rounds. And I think he'd be a good fit here for Mike Tomlin's defense. And who knows, he might even develop into a potential starter for this team in the years to come. So here's my mock draft 5.0 Hall. I have Jackson Powers-Johnson at number 20 to be the new starting center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Roman Wilson as that option in round 2 as a receiver. Super versatile, fits this offense, and he has a personal connection with Mike Tomlin already. Blake Fisher to be your new right tackle. Jarrion Jones to be your day 1 starting slot corner. Gabe Hall to be a rotational piece on day 1 that could potentially turn into a starting defensive tackle. J.D. Bertrand, an inside linebacker from Notre Dame, to come in a rotational role on third downs. And then M.J. Devonshire, a developmental cornerback prospect that probably sits year 1, but could develop into a starter in the years to come. So make sure you guys grade my mock draft down there in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And make sure you guys go give me a follow on Twitter/X at Jack_Sperry on Twitter. And send me your Steelers mock drafts, man. I love getting those messages from you guys saying, hey, what do you think about my mock draft? Hey, what do you think about this? I really do appreciate when you guys reach out to me on Twitter, and I do my best to make sure I get back to everybody that I can. So I really do appreciate you guys. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.